millions upon millions of dollars by so many schools that the government left abandoned, that they would not repair, that they would not complete, simply because they are embarking on a policy to have your children uneducated. And the fact to prove what I am saying, ladies and gentlemen, is if this government wanted to have your children educated, I am saying to you that they would have never stopped that textbook grant. They would have never abandoned that laptop program. And they would never leave so many schools. As one minister said, whether he believed those schools were billing for duens and parrot, it seems as though that is the qualification. That is what the government used to qualify your child, qualifying them as duens and parrots, and leaving them uneducated, exposed to the gangs, exposed to the pedophiles, exposed to the rapists, exposed to every form of criminal intent in this country, grooming them and preparing them for our nation's prison. That is what this government is all about. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care whether you are a PNM. I don't care whether you support the UNC. I don't care if you don't vote, and later I will tell you why you must vote. But I ain't care. What I care about, ladies and gentlemen, is that you, the people of this country, understands what the government is doing within the educational sector. It is preparing your children for the nation's prison. We have seen under this government that school fights have dramatically increased, out of control, without the government having a plan to curb that behavior within our nation's schools. We have seen a government, ladies and gentlemen, who runs a country by trials and errors. A government who is running this country by what they think might work, without any clear policies to be implemented to have our educational system competing with the rest of the world. We are not only behind in the Caribbean, ladies and gentlemen, but we are last. We are last in every aspect of development in this country. That is where we are. Ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you today that when you see what is happening in government, when you look at the behavior of government, when you could have a prime minister who commits a criminal act, conspiring with the highest office, the office of the president, and these two offices conspire with an independent institution and commit a serious criminal act against the democracy of our country, and not only against the democracy, but commits a criminal act against our Constitution. The thing that they ought to be governed by, the government, the Prime Minister and the President, who I will never have any respect for, once they continues to remain in those two chairs. Criminal act. And this government allow it. Not one minister in government, not one senator in government, whether independent or not, because I consider the independent senators as government senators also, because anything the government bring to the parliament they support. Not one of them stood up and speak out against that criminal breach of our Constitution. Not one. But yet to the end of the day, you will see these same individuals lobbying to take the place of Rowley when they are conspiracy to the act that the Prime Minister commit against the democracy of this country, because they sits in the parliament, they sits in the cabinet, and they will say nothing about that serious breach within our Constitution. When you see, ladies and gentlemen, government officials like Alwari, like Sinanan, like Stuart Young, like Imbut, like Rowley, who continue to recuse themselves in order to benefit from your taxpayer dollar, recuse themselves. A big word to tell you that all these conmen have to do is to walk out and walk in, and walk out and walk in, and dollars flowing. Dollars flowing. These are alleged conmen, and dollars flowing. Your money just going through the door. Every time they walk out with millions. And every time they come back in to get millions. And you, the people of this country, cannot provide as sneakers, as slippers. And if you want to go back, you cannot provide a slate and a pencil. But they continue to benefit millions while your children suffer, while they benefited from the education system with scholarships. Your children have to suffer, cannot even pass an exam, and yet to the end of the day, some of you wicked parents will still say great is the PNM. Some of you wicked parents will still say, great is the PNM. You know why they will say that? Because all you have nothing. And it seems as though all you want all your children to walk in the same footstep, depending on handout and scratching the PNM back and scratching the PNM MP's head, ears, toe, knee, and whatever, in order to get some kind of handout. It seems as though because all you have not benefited because of all your own stupidity by supporting a government who never support you folks, you are assisting, you are aiding and abetting your children to do the same thing, so that to the end of the day, they will have to depend on social services and wait until they reach the age to see if they could get a pension. Some of you wicked parents. Some of you wicked parents. That is what all you're supporting. When you look on the streets continue to be filled. And I will deal with hinds and the blood of this on the streets just now. I ain't going there yet. The streets continue to be filled with delinquents. The streets continue to be filled with failures. The streets will be filled with criminals, ladies and gentlemen, because you are not standing up to ensure that your children benefit from the wealth of this country. Instead of that, you will support Imbat, Alwari, Young, Rowley, Regis, Beckers, Manning, and the whole team. You will support those individuals to benefit from the taxpayer dollar and the resources of this country while your children go hungry. That is what you will support. Some of you, ladies and gentlemen, cannot even purchase your personal garments, but yet to the end of the day, if you have to go in your 90 to vote for the PNM, you're going in your 90. And I ain't saying negligee because they can't even afford that with what Rowley doing to early in this country. All you cannot afford in this country what this Rowley government doing to you, but yet to the end of the day, we have the youths on the streets, and the youths cannot benefit from the wealth of this country. Why the youths cannot benefit from the money of this country? I will tell you why. Because all you support the PNM. This PNM government believe that the prison is for the youths. They believe that the youths don't want anything good. That is what they believe. And that is how they treat the youths of this country. The youths of this country, some of them, they are very well educated. Others are very well talented. Others very much skilled. But yet to the end of the day, there is no opportunities down to the ground where the youths could benefit. Instead of that, you have where the rich getting richer, which Rowley state clearly that he have no problem with, and to the end of it, their children going to the best college. You know why? Because they utilize your vote. You see, you ain't understand this thing yet, you know. You figure that when you go to the polling station and you dip your hand in some ink after you done stamp your X by the balize, you tell yourself that I vote for a black government. Let me tell you what you ain't understand. You have not yet learned to understand that when you do that for the PNM, they turn around and cash in your votes. They take your votes and turn it into dollars for themselves, their friends, their financiers, and their family, and all you get is nothing but a PNM party card, and you get a hamper if your name good. That is what you get. Other than that, you have nothing else to get from the PNM more than promises which never materialize. That is what you get from the PNM. Promises that never materialize. And I dare you, and I will put any one of you to the test to prove me wrong. To prove me wrong. You have received so many promises. Year go, year come. Election go, election come. You have received promises from local government, up the ladder to your member of parliament, up the ladder to your ministers, up the ladder to your prime minister, and you get nothing but a bunch of empty promises. That is what they give you. And it seems as though that you are quite content with empty promises and the breakdown, shakedown communities, infrastructures that you have now within your community. It seems as though that you are quite comfortable with that. I have seen shameless maclache and some shameless idiots who live in Palo Seco go down by Petrotrin Velodrome to say they're having fireworks. Ooh, what an insult to your intelligence. What a blatant insult. Raking up some grass with CPEP cup, trying to get it out of the way, to put some fireworks in the air, to have you believe that all is well in Palo Seco. Well, I want to let you know today, Trinidad and Tobago, that all could never be well, not only in Palo Seco, but all could never be well with this incompetent, shameless government that you have in office that they call the PNM government. Shamelessly. And that is what the people accept. That is what they accept in this country. They accept zero. They accept nothing. They have nothing. But yet they are holding their hand tight with the fist closed. Like there is something within that risk and that fist. But if you are to open their hands, ladies and gentlemen, it cannot even collect the natural oxygen that flow through the atmosphere. They have nothing. They have no jobs. They have no education. They have no food. They have no homes. They have no lands. They have no pharmacies. They have no groceries. They have nothing. But yet they will cry, great is the PNM. All they have is a red PNM jersey with a balize, and they hold on to that as though that is money in the bank. That is where you are, people. I know that the lyrics is hard. I know that the lyrics pierce your heart. I even know that the lyrics get you angry. But what I am saying, it is the truth. And don't vex with the messenger. Apply and accept the truth. Because that is where you are in this country. The few people who continues to benefit out of the PNM year go, year come, their children will go to the prestige schools. Their children will have drivers to take them to and fro. Their children will eat ham, lamb, steak. They ain't want no jam. That is for you down there. You are the eat the jam. Their children will ride in the air-conditioned cars. Their children will have either special brand security or private security. Their children are protected from every element, from the criminal intent. They will benefit. They will have the best in their air-conditioned classrooms. But you, ladies and gentlemen, you have to cope and fight with the elements, the criminal intent, the criminal elements. You have to cope with the bullying and the beating of your children within these schools. You have to find money to pay the van that take your children to school. And mind you, make sure and pay my daughter van when she move with the children, you know. You have to find the money. You have to find the money for the textbook. You have to find the money for the uniforms, the socks, the ribbons, the vests, the underwears, the undergarments. You have to find the money for everything. But yet you have contributed more. You have built this country by your sweat and by your taxes. But those who work less and eat more, those who work less and spend more, and if you don't believe me, you could look at Fitzgerald Hines in the parliament. Right, we will come to that in a bit. Those of you who puts money in these criminals' pocket that you call government ministers, you have to suffer. You have to pay the price. But you are paying the price because you is the one responsible for what is happening. I want you to listen to this video. It's just a few minutes. I want to ask Archie to play this video, and I want you parents to listen to this video. Archie, run it.
In the Forensic Science Center, there was a time, you will recall, when on a Monday morning, people line up by the Forensic Science Center, bodies piling up. You remember that? When last you heard that?
Actually, hold up that one.
We hired another one.
Hold with that one. I ain't want that one yet. I want the other one first. That one I want. This one I want. Now let's watch him.
To create confusion, mayhem, blood, burn, kill, chop, mash up. They never built a phone cook. They never built a scooter. They never built a door. They don't know how to hold a hammer or use a measuring tape, but they know how to burn down and mash up and destroy. During the years of slavery, we are in emancipation time, you know.
Listen.
The white man, the English, the Dutch, the French, the Spanish, especially the English, went into Africa and took our men. And they didn't take no man with no 1 foot and no disabled or no old man like me. They wanted muscle, strength, and they took our men between the ages of 16 and 40 years.
Go ahead, Heinz. Go ahead.
And that went on for 500 years. They were taking the lifeblood, the power, the energy out of Africa. And that was going to America, and going to South America, and going here to the Caribbean, and going to Europe. And it was meeting the muscle and the youth that they already had, so it was doubling and tripling their power. And as a result, you saw the Industrial Revolution, and these countries blossomed because they were getting free labor. While Africa, losing its energy, was getting weaker and weaker and weaker as the decades went on because we were losing the power. I tell you that to let you know, when the young men in your families and in our communities sit down and don't use the muscle and the mind and the power to build and to create, we are imposing a system of slavery on ourselves.
Hold it there, Archie. Hold it there.
Hold it there.
Hold it right there. Hold it there, Archie. All you see the hypocrisy of these evil devils. Heinz, let me tell you something. You draw an illustration with the Europeans going into Africa and taking the youth between 16 and 40 because they wanted muscle. Taking the youths and bringing them into the slave trade. And you are now saying that when young men sit down and don't utilize their muscle to build and to this and Heinz, I want to tell you something. What you are describing here, it is the attributes of the PNM. What you are saying here tonight, Fitzgerald, Ethelbert, Idiot Heinz, you are just telling us the principles and the policies that the PNM continue to utilize in our society against the young muscle by not creating any opportunities, by not creating avenues, by not creating youth development programs within the community in order for the same young men between 16 and 40 to benefit. Instead, what the PNM has done is to create opportunities to make the young men between 60 and 40 to become criminals and to dress and prepare them for our nation prison. That is what the PNM continue to do, and that is what you are speaking about, Heinz. Don't go to Africa. Don't blame the white man. Don't blame the European. Blame the PNM for the condition of the youths in this country today. That is what you are explaining to us. You see, Heinz, I think that you are overqualified in clownery. I think that you are overqualified in idiotism. You believe that when you stick your teeth between your tongue and you speak about this is what the black man and you disguise your voice like you have a stone between your tongue or under your tongue. You know, in the days of old Heinz, to get that twang in the tongue, they used to put a little stone under your tongue. Well, I think that you better take out the stone under your tongue and face reality and take out the stone anywhere else that it situates and come down from where you are and understand that you and the PNM and Rowley is the problem to the young people in this country, because you guys have supported one shot, one kill. That is what you have supported for our youths. You, Rowley, Stuart Young, you guys who sits in the cabinet, you guys, Rowley, with a conversation with the Prime Minister, sit down and tell the population that he supports one shot, one kill. And he went on further, you know. He went on to ask the mother who was disapproved of that policy. He says, so what do you want the police to do? Aim for the foot? Aim for the foot? But mother, while you were asking those questions and while you were disappointed, I want to ask you if you still support the PNM after Rowley tell you that to your face, that he support one shot to kill your own son on the side of the road. I want to know if you support the PNM still. That is what Heinz was explaining. Heinz was reading from the playbook of the PNM to help you to understand that what the PNM is doing is allowing the young men of our society to rid themselves by executing each other by the grab when the day comes, while the blood continue to flow no longer in the drains, but the blood now flows in the river, because it's so much amount of blood that no longer the drain could hold that capacity. So the blood of the youths in this country, it is now running down the river, while Heinz and Rowley and Stuart Young and Alwari and Amor, the Lion Attorney General, will sit down and speaks about we are bringing legislation to fix the problem. You know what is the legislation they bring in to fix the problem? They put Alexander in charge of Port of Spain. That is the policy. That is the policy. They put Alexander in charge of Port of Spain. So don't look for one shot, one kill. Look for plenty shot and plenty dead. That is what you have to look for now. That is the policy. The policy of the PNM was never to fix the problem in these crime-stricken areas. The policy of the PNM was never to bring upliftment to those areas, to bring trade, to bring skill, to bring sport, to bring education, to bring the social services. That was never the policy. The policy of the PNM is always to get rid of the young, strong African muscle youths in this country, because they believe that the youths are a threat to them, and that is why they will allow the youths to point the gun at themselves and execute each other. Well, today I am calling on the youths. I am calling on the youths. I am telling the youths today that your brother on the streets, that is not your enemy. Your brother on the block who trying to make a hustle just as you making in order to survive. He wants to make a hustle to survive. He is not your enemy. Your enemy, young people, is the government of Trinidad and Tobago. That's your enemy. That is your enemy. Not the man we're hustling by the side of the block. He trying to live just as you want to live. And if the government had any concern, the government would have moved you from that type of industry to a meaningful industry. And what do I mean? The government would have put in place proper legislation even within the marijuana industry, where this same marijuana that you have to hide and sell and kill each other to get control of the block, this same marijuana would have been an industry that would have been exported, and to the end of the day, each and every one would have benefited. The planter would have benefited. Those who possessing would have benefit. Everybody would have benefit. But the government don't want that. The government may very well have their big conglomerates to develop that industry, where you may very well hear Super Farm or other institution, other industry that is big like those, taking control of the same market that you fight to get legalized, and that you are killing each other for a place on the side of the road to make a dollar. The government doesn't have your interest at heart. If the government had your interest at heart, they would have put mechanism in place that this industry would have been up and running in a legal way, where every one of you who are involved would have benefit. But they don't want that. They want you to kill each other. They want you to get rid of each other. And that is what they will continue to utilize. When you don't get rid of each other, they will put the police to get rid of you. That is what they will do. So Alexander is to get things back in order, get the crime down, and get things back in order, and make Port of Spain and its environs safe again. You know where that's going to be? All the plain, all the dumb, deaf and dotish. You know how that will be? It will be 1 shot, 15 dead. That is what it will be. So wake up, youths. Do not allow them, those guys, to make you a casualty for their benefit. Do not allow them to make you as a statistic for their benefit. Do not allow them to utilize your blood for the rich to benefit. Your brother is not your enemy. Your brother is not your enemy. Nelson Street is not John enemy. John is not Never Dirty enemy. Never Dirty is not Chumakak enemy. Chumakak, St. Babs is not your enemy. Your enemy is the government of Trinidad and Tobago. That is your enemy. They can't take real talk. But that is what they does get here. Does get real, does get hard, does get live, and they get it factual. That is what they can take. That is the reality. So those study Fitzgerald Dotish Hines. Hines, I asked you about 10 occasions. Did your wife give out government vouchers during the pandemic? Answer that question. Because if she did, then that is slavery. If she distribute government vouchers in Santa Flora to a religious organization, that is slavery. By whose authority? If she give out that, where she work in social development, how she get that? Boy, you better get serious in this country and know who is your enemy. Get serious and know who is your enemy. The man was selling a piece of weed to make $1. That is not your enemy. That is not your enemy. Your enemy is the government. Who have you in those conditions? Who have your environment dilapidated? It is those same idiots who dress up in these same European shirts, who look down at you and who try to convince you that you are your own enemy. Those are the ones. Those are the ones. Listen to Hines. Listen to Hines. As they put Alexander in Port of Spain. Listen to Hines on the next clip. Actually, run the next clip for me.
In the Forensic Science Center, there was a time, you will recall, when on a Monday morning, people line up by the Forensic Science Center, bodies piling up. You remember that? When last you heard that? Because we had 3, we hired another one, we had 3 pathologists. Recently, one retired, and we are in the process of getting another one very quickly so that they could do the post-mortems and get these things going far more quickly. We improved the number of mortuary attendants, the people who assist the pathologists in doing their work. So now we have 7 of them on the job. All to make the pathology unit in the Forensic Science Center far more efficient.
Thank you, Archie. All you listen, all you just listen to what Hines say. All you know, I wonder if all you on that. Lord, I wonder if all you have brain to understand what Hines just tell all you. Hines telling all you that they increase the more attendants. That they one pathologist gone, they bring an next one. They fully equip the staff at the forensic science complex to have the process running quickly. All you understand what Hines is telling you? All you understand that? What Hines is telling all you is that they have already created the atmosphere for bodies to be coming in the forensic science center at a rapid pace of time with rapid speed. So what they have done, they have intensified, they have put together a team of pathologists, a unit that will be able to get those bodies running quickly, as fast as you get gunned down, as fast as you get murder, and your body comes in to the pathologist, to the forensic center. The pathologist will be able to dish you up quickly, making more rooms for your black brother and your black sister, for your mother, for your father, for your brother, for your cousin to come in and disperse of them very quickly, creating room so more can come. That is what Hines is telling you folks. I wonder if all you just understand that. I wonder if all you know understand what Hines said. Hines is saying, let me take it slow. Actually, you could go back on that clip for me. You could go back and let them people hear what Hines is telling them, Archie. I don't want them to feel it's
in the Forensic Science Center, there was a time, you will recall, when on a Monday morning, people line up by the Forensic Science Center, bodies piling up. You remember that?
Pause there a minute, Archie, if you could. Pause there a minute, if you could. So, hear what Hines is boasting of. Hines is boasting and telling you, the citizen of this country, if you could remember, there was a time where people line up outside the Forensic Science Center because bodies pile up. Who bodies go to the Forensic Science Center, ladies and gentlemen? It is people when they are murdered, or people whose deaths have some sort of circumstantial evidence to say that some foul play may be involved. But to the end of the day, it's people who get murdered will go. And Hines boasting for you and telling you, if you could remember when people used to line up and bodies pile up, but now the great PNM fixed that problem and they're now creating more space for more murder victims to come to the Forensic Science Center. Run it, Archie. Continue with that clip if you could find up.
Because we hired another one, we have 3 pathologists. Recently one retired and we are in the process of getting another one very quickly so that they could do the post-mortems and get these things going far more quickly.
Hold up there, Archie. So here we are, telling you. They have had another pathologist. One resigned and they're searching for one very quickly. So they could have these things rolling and getting rid of these bodies very quickly. Who bodies Hines talking about? He not talking about COVID-19 death. He not talking about natural causes death. He is not speaking about somebody going to sleep and then get up. Hines is talking about your mother, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your daughter. Hines is talking about when your family get murdered, that they have increased. They have increased personnel at that center to dish you up very quickly, making room for more to come. You see, ladies and gentlemen, you tell me something. First, this Fitzgerald Hines is a bigger idiot than people thought. That Hines would not come and tell you that we have taken a position to call out the defense force to patrol on a 24-hour basis these areas which we now have over 400 murders. We will have members of the defense force together with tactical units, round-the-clock patrols, while we utilize the intelligence, because I could clearly remember that Stuart Young, Rowley, and Hines government tell you that they know who the gang leaders are. They said that they know. And they have the intelligence. So if they know who are these individuals who responsible for the massacre of human lives in our society, and Hines is telling you that we have prepared more pathologists, We have increased staff. So when the bodies comes to this center, we would be able to deal with it very quickly. Then Hines is telling you that the policy of this government is to create more opportunities where more bodies can come to the forensic center, where these new people that they hire will have work, and then the government will see how fast they could work. So the more people get killed, is more the government would be able to utilize the probationary period to see if the people that they now hire to man this facility are quite competent, and these are the people that they want to do the job that the government have set out to do. One shot, one kill, one shot, more kill, more murders, more people losing their life, more families crying, more children without parents. This is what the government has now embarked on. This is what Hines is saying to you in a nutshell. You could really understand, you could imagine, you could really look at what these individuals who suggest that they are ministers. I mean, this position, ladies and gentlemen, you should be crying, screaming. If the UNC was in power, what would you have done? I could tell you, there would have been protests and more protests. There would have been people on the streets crying for the resignation of the UNC Minister of National Security. There would have been people in front of the parliament crying for the UNC to go. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a government who have now set in motion a plan to get more people murdered in this country. Not looking after the cause and effects. Not bringing to the table a solution to stop the murder, but bring a solution to have the autopsy done at quick intervals so more bodies could come. You could tell me where we are going in this country, and you people in this country would sit down and accept that for a national security minister? You people will sit down and accept that as a policy of the government, because that is what it is. That is a policy of the government, ladies and gentlemen. That is a policy of Keith Rowley. And when you hear Keith Rowley said that he support one shot, one kill, then Hines come as the mop-up man, and Hines is now preparing the forensic center, so when people get murdered on the streets, the pathologists would be able to deal with their bodies quickly and give you back so you could bury your dead while they make room for other murder victims to come in. That is the policy that Hines is now boasting about on social media, and this country remains quiet. This country remains competent, that this government is the government that they want. That is what you are doing, ladies and gentlemen. And with this in mind, I cannot help but say tonight that I am so totally disgusted and dissatisfied with these idiots that Rowley have in these strategic positions to look after the safety of these people in this country, when you know for yourself that you are not safe. Today, wrought iron continue to sell. Today, the fabricators continues to make money because of the policy of the government. Everybody billing for burglar proof. Burglar proof for each one of your doors inside your house. No longer the burglar proof outside your window is safe enough. Today, people put in burglar proof outside the window, inside the window, outside the door, inside the door, and inside every door in the house. That is where we reach. What would it take again? What would it take again, Trinidad and Tobago, for you to stand up and demand the resignation of this government? What would it take again? Young men in this country, where are your voices? Where are your fortitude? I said last week, it seems as though that men now stooping down to urinate. No longer they could stand up and urinate because they have lost their fortitude. We have seen brutal murders of our women, of our sisters, of our young ladies in society. We have seen brutal murders of our young men, the youth, which is the future of this country. And we have seen a government who will not lift a finger to fix the problem. You know why? Because the government, they are the creators of the problem. They are the creators of the problem. The more the crime escalates, is the more this government benefits. Is the more personally they benefit. Because while you crying about 5 get killed and 3 get gunned down and this sister get killed and this one in the hospital, they busy thieving your money, busy withdrawing, busy going to Switzerland or wherever they want to go to bank it, and you like a bunch of headless chicken will sit down with no food to eat, nothing to send your children to school, no good shelter over your head, no good roads to drive on, no water in your pipe, no infrastructure for sports, and you will sit down and bawl, great is the PNM. You know, I am asking, I am begging the youths of this country, I am begging you youth man and you youth girl to recognize that if you unite and if you stand up in unison with one voice and demand this government go, I am telling you that better days would be forthcoming. Better days would be forthcoming with the plans and the policies of Kamla Persad Bissessa. You know why they will tell you Kamla weak? You think it's because of her age? It's not because of her age. They will tell you Kamla weak because they have to find some way to discredit. They have to find some way to stop the embarrassment. The embarrassment that Kamla Persad Bissessa creates within the PNM by her deliverance, by her policies between 10 and 2015 is something that the PNM have no answer for, and therefore they will try to do and to say and to discredit in every form and fashion because they know that when Kamla Persad Bissessa sits on the chair once more, it will be the destruction of the PNM permanently. They know that. They know that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't feel they know that. They know that. So they have to try. They doesn't concern about administration and what is happening in the country. You know. They are not concerned about that. You listen, Rowley, Hines, Beckers, Camille Robinson Regis, Stuart Young, Alwari, Lymore, and all of them. They're more busy about speaking against and about the UNC than speaking about policies and rectifying the problems that exist, that affects you, that causes your child, your mother, your father, your daughter to lose their life and to put food on your table. They are not concerned. They are not concerned about that. They are concerned about putting together a theory to discredit Kamla Prasad Bisesa so that the PNM could survive. That is what they are concerned about. Well, tonight, I am telling you, the people of this country, that you have the say in this country. But you could only utilize the say when you open your mouth and allow your voice to speak and allow your feet to walk. When you allow your voice to speak and your feet to walk, then you will be able to see the light of the tunnel, and then you will be able to live again in this once beautiful, prosperous, resourceful country that we call Trinidad and Tobago, and then you will be able to secure a future for your children. Tonight, as I wrap up, I want to say to you people, do not remain dumb. Do not remain dumb. Allow your mouth to speak and your feet to travel, and victory would come. Victory would come. Victory would come. And then you will be able to live again in this once beautiful, resourceful country that we call Trinidad and Tobago, which was once the gem of the Caribbean. I want to tell you tonight, stay safe. Look out for us on Friday, same time.
Yeah, tomorrow, Douglas Politics, 7:30.
7:30 tomorrow.
And just a reminder, at 10:30, the UNC network would be carrying a live press conference from the Superior Regional Corporation. Right, so those guys are the Superior, a boy again like that fella boy. The Superior Regional Corporation press conference at 10:30 a.m. And then live from the opposition office at 12 o'clock would be the midweek press conference, official opposition press conference. So plenty action tomorrow on the UNC networks. At 10:30 a.m., press conference from Siparia. At 12 o'clock, press conference from opposition office. At 7:30, Douglas Politics. And at 8 o'clock, you could join the Compass Foundation. They would have a very eminent economist, independent economist, talking about the economy. So plenty action tomorrow.
Stay tuned, stay blessed, good night.